Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to our class. I'm your instructor Adil Raza, and today we have to learn SLO from unit 6 from grade 6, and it's our unit 8 and it's our third lecture of this unit 8. So let's find out what our competency is and what is the student learning outcome which we have to go through in this lecture. So here the competency is competency of grammar, and the SLO is mainly concerned with the figures of speech, and it's our lecture 3. So let's go further and find out, read what the SLO is. What the SLO is saying? The SLO states that understand and utilize figurative language, similes, metaphors, personification given in the text and make sentences. So in this SLO we have to understand the figure of speech, but in this SLO particularly we will focus on the metaphors and the personification and try to understand what the metaphor is and what is meant by personification, and then we will learn how to use the metaphors and personification in our language or in the writing. So here is the vertical linkage, go through it. Let's go further. Here we have a brainstorming session. So let's find out what is the brainstorming prompt. Have you ever thought about what a tree can do? Can you imagine hearing a tree or talk? So here is the brainstorming activity. Have you ever listened a bird? Have you ever listened a tree? Or you have ever imagined, can a tree talk, or can a tree do something which humans can do? I hope you have imagined it in your chapter, because the chapter is Heartwood and it is mainly concerned with a tree is talking and we are actually the listeners of the tree. So why such type of things are happen? Talking is a humanistic characteristics. It is not done by the trees or by the other species other than the human beings. How this happens? This happens in literature through the use of figures of speeches, and that figure of speech in which we use the non-human things like the humans are considered as personification. So let's find out how figurative language make the tree speak and how figurative language make the text interesting. Firstly, let's find out what the metaphor is. So here we have to understand the metaphor. Firstly, a metaphor makes a direct composition between two different things or ideas without using as or like. So in this figure of speech, we make a comparison between two things which are not same, but they are same in terms of a particular quality. So on the base of that quality, we compare those two things without using as or like, as we did in the simile. So when we compare two things on the base of a certain qualities which the both things are possessing without using as or like, is considered as metaphor. It's actually a figure of speech which is called metaphor. So here we have an example, like we say her eyes were diamonds. So if we say her eyes are like the diamond, then it will be simile, but we don't we don't use like or as, that's why, and we say directly her eyes were diamonds, that's why it is an example of metaphor. And diamonds are, we can say that, bright, and her eyes are bright. This is the quality on the base which we are making a comparison between these two objects. There is another example. The snow is a white blanket. So the snow is white blanket. We don't say that the snow is like a white blanket or the snow is as a white blanket. We directly says that the snow is a white blanket, which means that we use metaphor on the base of their color, on the base of their certain qualities which the both possesses. We make a direct relationship or a direct comparison between these two objects using the metaphor. So I hope you guys have understand what the metaphor is. Let's go further. Here we have a second part of speech, a second figure of speech, which is personification. Let's find out how the word personification is formed. So firstly, here is the word, the person. Person means a man, a human, and personification mean to make something human. So if we make something human or a person which is not a human or a person, so it means we are actually using the personification. So either the thing is living object, either the thing is non-living object. If that thing is not a person and we associate some qualities of a person, of a human to that thing, it means that we personify that thing. Like, what are the humanistic characteristics? Human can feel, human can hear, human can experience, human can think, human can talk. So if we associate any of the humanistic quality with any non-human thing, we actually personifying that thing, and the action is considered as personification, and it's a part of speech. I hope you guys have a better understanding of personification. So let's read the definition. Personification is giving human qualities to non-living things or ideas. Sorry, there has to be non-human things, not the non-living things. We can give the qualities of person to the human things like tree or like any animal as well. So personification is giving human qualities to non-human things, and in the non-human things, living and non-living both are considered. So let's take an example. The flowers nodded. So the flowers nodded, we use the flowers, we associate a quality of humans with the flowers. In the second example, the snowflakes dance. So dancing is a thing, is an action which is carried out most of the time by the human beings, and we associate this thing to a non-human thing, a non-person thing. That's why we are personifying snowflakes there. Thirdly, the thunder grumbled. So here we have a lot of examples. Our poem Heartwood is also an example of personification, in which the tree is talking with the audience. So that's why, because the speaking or talking is an ability of humans, that's why the poem in itself is also a work of personification, in which the in which a tree is personified. So I hope you guys have understand what the personification is. So there we have a classroom activity based on our understanding of personification and metaphor. So here we have a poem in which what you have to do, read the given poem and identify the use of simile, metaphor and personification, and also write the main idea of the poem. So here you have to read this poem and identify where personification is used or where the metaphor is used. I hope you guys have understand what personification is and how we use personification in writing or in the spoken form of language. So let's go further. Here is the simulation. From this simulation, you guys will definitely betterly understand what is meant by personification, what is meant by metaphor, or overall what is meant by the figurative devices. So let's go further. Here is the worksheet. Pause the video and attempt this worksheet on the base of your understanding of this SLO of this lecture. So let's go further. Here we have a homework, and what is the homework? Write 3 sentences for a tree using personification. So here you have to associate some humanistic characteristics to a tree and write the 3 sentences. Maybe you can write that the tree eats the food, the tree eats the air, or something like that. Eating, drinking, sleeping, talking. These all are these all are humanistic attributes, and when you give these attributes or these actions, when you associate these actions with a tree, because tree is a non-person thing, non-human thing, so it will be an act of personification. So this is what you have to do in your homework. I hope you guys have understand what you do in the homework. So here is the resource pack which will make you guys better to understand the SLO, which will assist you to attain the SLO, to achieve the SLO. I hope you guys understand what is meant by figurative devices, what is meant by metaphor particularly, and what is meant by personification, and how they use in the text. If you find any issue, any question, any doubt, you can ask in the comment section and ask from your teacher as well. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.